It's time now for the award-winning #1 local talk show in Northeast Pennsylvania, The Sam Lesante Show. Now here's your host, Sam Lesante.
Well, my friends, what's going on in the city of Hazleton? We're going to give you a full update of what's happening with crime, what's happening, how we're protecting our citizens. And remember, for those of you who are watching in the surrounding areas, it affects you. It affects you. What we do here in the greater Hazleton area, believe me, it affects Cunningham, Sugarloaf, Drums, McAdoo, Hazel Township, even going into Monterey City, Frackville. So it'll be interesting to see what's going on here and how it's developing rather nicely. Back on the show, no stranger to the Sam Lesante Show, our chief, Jerry Speziale, chief of Hazleton Police Chief. Jerry, it's nice to see you again.
Thank you, Sam. It's great to be here.
Busy summer, as always.
Yes, very busy summer.
Yeah. So now I understand you're up to 42 policemen now, right?
Yes, we are. We're up to 42, and we have the opportunity. I spoke to Congressman Cartwright and his chief of staff. The grant has been held for a while for the COPS grant, the hiring grant. So now it's going to open up in October. I'm prepared, ready to go. I'm going to apply for 3, and hopefully we can bring the police force up to 45.
That's fantastic. Now, when you were on the show before, we had talked about when you came on board and everything that was done, which were all facts. We don't make these things up. Sometimes people, we all wish there was no crime, Jerry.
Of course.
We all wish that we could just go back to the old days and, and leave our front doors open, etc. We all wish that. But what we're seeing throughout in the city so far, there's been a lot of accomplishments.
Yes, sir.
People say, well, yeah, Sam, I know that. So, but the point is, how much has general crime decreased?
General crime decreased over 40% over that 5-year period, the 4-year period from 2015 all the way till now. So if you really look at it, it's definitely a safer city, but the problem is the first gunshot that goes off, the first bar fight there is, as soon as the people see that, it's that perception becomes reality, Sam. But I can tell you, if you walk downtown or you're walking throughout this city, you're safe here. Our police officers are out there. We have undercover officers out there. Believe me, you are covered, and we are going to blanket cover you with some of the things that the mayor wants to do here.
Well, let's talk about a few things, all right? And I said this affects everyone,
yes.
All right? So there's this project called SEPTED.
Yes.
Okay, what is that?
SEPTED is crime prevention through environmental design. So it goes with, it's almost like the broken windows theory, where if you leave a neighborhood in shambles, then people expect and think that crime and disorder is accepted there. So what the mayor has done is he's put 1,612 LED, the new high intensity lights at no cost, which changes the dynamic of the neighborhood because now it's lit. Now crime doesn't fester there. So that's how you do it. You do it through environmental design, whether it's, buildings that are taken down because they're dilapidated, paving of the streets, making sure that garbage is picked up. All of that is the broken windows theory. And it all goes with crime prevention through environmental design. By doing all of that, the public sees it and realizes that it's unacceptable behavior. If you allow garbage to be in the street, or you allow to have broken windows in a home, or you allow to have, darkness in streets, then the criminal element thinks this is acceptable in this area. So that's what we are utilizing, and that's the big thing with crime prevention through environmental design.
Going throughout the town, I travel around the town sometimes just to see what's going on. And I noticed there's certain areas that are really dilapidated. I mean, there's garbage outside, and it seems like people don't take care of what they should take care of to make the city look good. Okay, so what some people say, well, go up here and you'll see garbage on the scene and everything in disarray. How do you enforce them cleaning themselves?
Look, what I do is I work with the code enforcement. If I get complaints either through email or through my phone or while I'm out and about talking to the public at different events, if somebody tells me about a garbage or a problem in a neighborhood, I immediately go to the code enforcement and I have them respond to that location and enforce that aspect so we can get a handle on it. Because like I said, if you leave it alone, then guess what happens? It starts to spread throughout that block. Everybody thinks it's okay.
Yeah.
You can't do that. It's that broken windows theory. You keep a neighborhood clean, you keep a neighborhood lit up, you keep a neighborhood, fenced and properties kept the right way. Sam, crime will not go to those areas.
In certain areas, you have absentee owners, landlords.
Yes, you do.
Okay. I remember you had touched on that before. So what are we doing about those?
The absentee landlords, what we're doing is we have a system. I have like a data system that I'm able to run nationwide. So I can help code enforcement. If they find an absentee landlord, they can get a judgment or get a citation against that individual. I'm able to track that person from that address in Hazleton across this country to find out where they're really staying, that owner. And then we can serve that owner and make sure that they take care of it. The other thing that we're doing is we're cutting their lawns and we're sending the bills. We're taking care of those properties, with whether it's DPW, whether it's code enforcement, we're taking care of it because we are using this crime prevention through environmental design. We don't want to have high grass in one spot in a neighborhood. You don't want to have, garbage just laying around. And we're billing those individuals.
Has that been working?
That's been working pretty well. I think it's been working pretty well. The code enforcement has really stepped up their enforcement, and we've been reporting it, and people have been reporting it to us. But it goes hand in hand with noise. Noise is probably, we did a study, and I found that 6 streets in the city of Hazleton are probably 90% of our noise issues.
So, and I had mentioned to you that there's up off of Laurel Street or wherever, one of the streets where there's this constant guy playing or a lot of loud music, okay? What happens is, I guess, when you guys go there, they shut it off, and then when they're gone, they put it back up again.
I'll tell you what happened. We got wind, and we started to use silent dispatch. What happened was we were finding that people have phone apps. Today you have everything's computerized. So what was happening was they had the scanner app so they could hear the Hazleton police being called to go to their house for the noise. On their phone app, when they seen the car pull into the street, they had an app that could shut the music off. So here they're listening to us come from the complaint, and then the next thing they're doing is they're pushing the phone. So when we get there, there's no noise. We're calling out to the county communication, there's no noise here. So what we started doing is, for noise complaints, I have them now send it to the computerized tablet in the car. Don't give it to me over the air. So now I see it, they can't hear it. Now we can jump on them and we hit them with the zero tolerance.
Yeah. And you just wonder sometimes,
You have to be smarter than that.
Well, yeah, you just wonder why they don't respect, the neighbors or whatever. It just very, very confusing to me, What about when you're looking at, I think prevention is a great thing.
Yes.
No matter what, like you said, when you look at a neighborhood and it looks clean, there's lit up, etc., people are not going to go there, okay? You would hope the thing.
No.
Now, you talked about cameras, okay? And then I know there's been an increase in cameras. What has the mayor done?
What happened is the mayor has a vision. He is all about this commitment to progress. So in talking to the mayor, we were able to get $300,000 in drug money and no cost to the taxpayers. Spoke with the mayor. He said, I want to see cameras in all of our parks. I want to see cameras in all of our areas, whether it's downtown, whether it's a crime area, whether it's somewhere where we're having problems. And then basically it's going to be these cloud-based cameras that we'll be able to see at headquarters, and we'll also be able to see on my phone. I'll be able to see in the patrol car. So it's almost like patrol on steroids with these new cameras, and it's going to just give us a force multiplier to to do more with what's going on.
They're in existence now?
We're putting them in right now.
You're
That's
putting
what
them in
we're
right now.
starting to
So
do
when will
right
this
now.
be in full operation?
I would say within the next 2 weeks, we'll have the first park done, which is the Altmiller Park. And then from the Altmiller Park, we're expanding out throughout the city. Like I said, imagine, Sam, you're going to be able to have a patrol car that gets a call across the city, clicks on a camera icon, and now sees you're the person that's creating the problem before they even start driving there.
Wow.
They know what they're looking for.
Yeah.
It's just that much better policing.
Now, once again, you're going to be looking at how do we get the word out, knowing that the cameras are there. So remember, I said prevention. We certainly want them to know that you're being watched. All right. It's not like, well, let's keep it a secret.
Oh, no.
Oh, we don't want to
them
keep this
know.
as
No secret.
Yeah.
Let them know.
Yeah.
I mean, I've called two gang members, two gang groups. When we had the shootings that were happening in this community, I called the leaders of the two groups that were feuding. And I Facebooked them on the messenger, and I told them, meet me in my office. Why? What up? I said, you didn't read my message? Meet me in my office. Well, they showed up. Not together. One group came in, and I sat down with the leader of the group, and I explained to him, next gunshot that goes off, and it's attributed to your group, we're going to focus on your group with a new street crime ceasefire unit until I take every member of your group and put them in jail. I'm not going to tolerate it. And then I got the next group, and I brought them in, and I explained to them. And then I explained to them the federal law called trigger lock. Trigger lock is a 5-year mandatory sentence, and you're doing federal time. And guess where you're going? You're going to Wyoming to a prison. So I asked him what he thought about being in Wyoming and who he would know there and how he thought he would survive in that federal prison environment. At say the least, with our ceasefire and with picking them off one at a time, guess what? Shootings are done.
That's fantastic. Folks, I'm talking to Chief Jerry Speziale, Hazleton Police Chief, talking about the different things that are happening. And remember, it affects everybody, not only Hazleton, it affects all the other areas, surrounding areas. We come back, we're going to talk about ShotSpotter, the street crime unit that they have, and again, some things that the mayor and Chief Speziale put into effect, which are helping the city. We'll be back right after this. Thanks for staying with us, folks. You're watching the Sam Lesante Show. Remember, folks, 24/7, you're going to watch all of our programming. Now, we had an app, but we have something better now. Just go to ssptv.com, and you'll see everything there. So we expanded it. The app is no longer visible, but we have ssptv.com, and when you go there, you'll understand what I'm saying. Everything we do is there. 24/7, all the 30-some shows we produce, local neighborhood programming. My guest today is Chief Jerry Speziale, Hazleton Police Department, talking about a lot of improvements has happened in the city over the years. When you're talking about these different things, not everybody likes me, not everybody likes you, not everybody likes the mayor, okay, and that's fine, okay, that's the way it is.
That's life.
So what happens is you hear, yeah, well, where does he get his facts from? You know, he talks about crime down 40%, and where does he get his facts from? And he talks about this, and where are these facts? Well, I've known you for how many years now? I don't think ever once, Jerry, you've been on this show and you've ever lied about anything. Never.
I go by the UCR codes and the federal reporting requirements. That's where I get my numbers.
One note here, folks. If you want to know about Jerry Speziale, Google him, and you'll see what he has been through, what he has done in law enforcement.
Thank you.
The fact that he's been threatened, but he maintained the stability to protect the people and most especially his family. And I commend you for that, Jerry.
Thank you,
I
Sam.
mean,
I
because you're not a phony.
No,
you know, you don't.
I am who I am. That's it.
You am who you am. You know?
I am who I am.
All right, let's talk about this ShotSpotter. I think this is fantastic.
ShotSpotter is a gunshot detection system, and we wrote a grant some time ago. And basically what it is it puts sensors around the city of Hazleton. It's like a ring of steel. And then basically what these sensors will do is it doesn't pick up fireworks, it don't pick up backfires. They come here and they calibrate weapons. So within this city, to say if ShotSpotter was set up here, if a gunshot went off outside the front of your building right now, nobody would have to call 911. It would automatically pop up on a map in the patrol car, tell them how many shots, they could hear the shots. The patrol car might be right around the corner. It is the greatest technology, and it comes with a camera system that zooms down on where that shot came from, and it puts up a map and a red dot and shows you exactly where the crime scene is. So it is the greatest technology. Think about when a gunshot goes off and somebody's got to hear the gunshot, look outside, go to their phone, dial 911, give them all the information, call the police car, have the police car respond there. You're talking 10 minutes.
Oh, easy. Yeah.
ShotSpotter, you're talking 30 seconds.
Wow. Is this in effect any other place in the country?
Yeah, it is. It's in effect all over the United States. It's in big cities, it's in small cities, it's in towns. You know, it's a real good protection technology against gunshots. It's not to, stop a hunter. This is for in an urban environment, in a city, in a neighborhood, to make sure if a gunshot goes off, the police know within seconds. And we know exactly where it's coming from. Somebody shows up at Lehigh Valley Hospital in a gunshot wound. We know to look on our phones or look on the computer, and we can go right back to the last place that a gunshot went off and find the crime scene.
Okay. Now, we do not have this yet.
No, we do not.
Okay, so what's the progress here in getting this gunshot?
What we're doing is, like I said, I talked at the Rotary this week, and in talking about ShotSpotter, there were people that were from the Valley, there were people that were from Sugarloaf, people that were from all over. So what people said is there any way we could not only make this a Hazleton type issue, could we make this, a regional Hazleton area issue? And I said, of course. We could map that footprint out to cover West Hazleton, to cover all the other areas. It gets a little bit more expensive, but it would work for the state police would get it. The locals in West Hazleton and the other police departments, everybody, Butler, whoever we map out in that area, it just gets more expensive as you expand those sensors. But because we're a city that's so high up, the lower lying areas are going to be easier for us to capture. So I kind of built over the borders a little bit to try and help the towns. We'll see what happens at this point. I'm going to apply for the grant this year, see if we can get it. We've spoken with Tara Toohill's office. The standard speaker, John Patton, had given me a call and said, could we talk about it? He thought it was great, so I sent him a copy of the grant. So we're talking about maybe trying to get some private-public partnerships, see what we can do to try and get this technology up. It would change the way we do business as far as gunshots going off in this city.
Well, with that being said, don't you think that it would be part of the city budget to finance this, or because you're talking about a major, again, prevention and protecting the citizens? I don't know.
I think that you could bond for something like this, but it's a capital expense. But what we need to do is, you got to realize, there's maintenance fees annually, so you got to get something that's going to cover you for 5 years out. And if we could get that, public-private partnership, and then get some grant money, and then maybe use a little city money and get everybody to kick in, I think we could have a tremendous system that works with everybody around this whole Hazleton area.
That's a good point, Jerry. If you're talking about West Hazleton, you're talking about Cunningham, Sugarloaf, Hazel Township, McAdoo, all the different boroughs, if they all can contribute something, because it's protecting all the citizens.
Correct. The big expense would be the infrastructure, but if we get everybody in it, it won't be as much for all of us. And I think we could, forego that expense with a little grant money, like I said, a little public-private, and a little bit of everybody sharing the burden, and it would work for all of us. It wouldn't be anybody's system, but all of our systems.
When you're looking at the crime units, the street crime unit, let's talk about that after the break. Okay, folks, I'm talking to Chief Jerry Speziale, Hazleton Police Department, filling in on what's going on. Street crime unit has been very effective, and he'll tell you how it's been effective to help, once again, to protect our citizens. We'll be back right after this. Thanks for staying with us, folks. You're watching the Sam Lesante Show on SSP TV. Don't forget ssptv.com. For those people who do not have cable, which you should, you can watch us now 24/7. Just go to YouTube, subscribe, SSP TV, bingo. All the shows are there, particularly shows I'm doing here with Chief Jerry Speziale, Hazleton Police Chief. All right, the Street Crime Unit.
Yes.
Been very successful.
Extremely. When we had that rash of shootings, like I said, we wanted to use this group violence intervention, and ceasefire's been around for a long time, and street crime's been around from when I was in the NYPD. So we made a ceasefire street crime unit. Basically, they're a nondescript vehicle. They're unmarked vehicle. They go out, 2 officers, they're fully equipped. And basically what they've been doing is going to these problem areas and focusing on a target list. So we put out an intelligence list from the Detective Bureau, from the Narcotics Division. And these 2 people that are actually running that unit are actually from the city of Hazleton. They grew up here. So they know all the players. They know who's doing what. It's amazing. I mean, since they've been out there, every day I am doing a press release. They've taken tons of guns, illegal guns. They've taken 2,500 bags of heroin, methamphetamine, pills, ecstasy. You name it, they are grabbing it left and there's every day they work. They're out there, and I don't want to say the hours, but they're out there during the hours that we need them to be there when the crime would normally occur. Yeah. And let me tell you something, they are doing some bang-up job.
How about the opioid crisis? Are we having more overdoses or less overdoses?
You know, I haven't had as many overdoses. I haven't seen as many overdoses in the city of Hazleton. Mm-hmm. I don't know, you know, because you see it nationally. Mm-hmm. But in the city of Hazleton, I would say our overdoses have dropped. Yeah. Now, whether that means people have stopped coming here to use drugs, you know, our narcotics division and our DEA task force partners has really gone after the drug dealers here. Mm-hmm. So we've taken a good chunk out of them. Mm-hmm. So I don't know if it's just the dry up of the supply that's kept them out of here. Mm-hmm. But I've definitely seen a decrease in overdoses.
Let's talk politics for a while here, because
sure.
when you're dealing with politics, you're the police chief.
Sure.
And you want to put things to effect,
yep.
and you need a team to work.
Yeah.
Now, there's no strange. I'm not saying any people don't know. I mean, you endorsed Mayor
Yes.
Cassett.
Yes, I did.
In fact, you did a commercial.
Yes, I did.
So how is this team working with you and Mayor Cassett?
Let me tell you something. Jeff allows me to base my decisions, or Mayor Cassett, I call him Jeff because I consider him a friend, mm-hmm. but he's also my boss. He allows me to run the police department based on solid police principles and not politics. He wants to see a safer city. He's committed to progress. He's committed to continue the progress. So whenever I go up and I explain or sit and we have strategies and talk about different ideas, he's willing to listen to me as the expert in policing.
That's your job.
And you want to know something, Sam? I'll tell you something. I can honestly say Mayor Cassett has been a tremendous mayor. He's been a tremendous boss, and he cares about the city of Hazleton. He's born here, he's raised here, he has businesses. He cares about the citizens and the city of Hazleton, sometimes to a fault.
Yeah.
Because he really does care.
Well, it's important, no matter what party you are, it's important to have this, working and not having politics play a part of it.
Sure.
Chief, it's always nice to see you.
It's great to be here with you, Sam.
Okay,
I love being here.
Always give us some good information. All I can tell you is that we have property here in Hazleton, as you know.
Yes.
Hats off to your police department.
They do a great job.
They really do, and they're not just words saying that.
No, they do a tremendous
Jerry,
job.
It's interesting because, even in my area, in Cunningham
Sure.
and Sugarloaf
Yep.
McAdoo, Freeland, the state police, they all do.
They all do great. We work together
yeah,
with all
yeah.
of them. I mean, Captain Bartles over at
Yeah.
the state police
Yeah.
and Tony down in Cunningham. I mean, they're just tremendous.
They really
partners.
do. They put
All
their
of
heart
them.
and soul in, and what we got to do is we have to support you guys.
I appreciate it.
You have to support them.
Thank you.
Nice seeing you.
Good seeing
Folks,
you.
Chief Jerry Speziale, remember you can watch this show anytime on YouTube or ssptv.com. Facts. All I can tell you is that the man presents facts. We'll see you next time.